but it's better than I expected. I'll have to try them in a latte really to be able to tell. Let's see, it's been a few minutes now still. And they say a good crema should last at least a good 2 minutes, and they still all have a good crema. Good morning, culture eaters. I was wondering, do you want me to call you culture eaters? Because after all, we are here to try different foods from different cultures. So let's try and eat that for a while. Today I'm going to do a product review. I have different products I'm going to show you just briefly here, but we will be concentrating on reviewing these Capsul'In cups that are made to make your own pods that will fit a few of the Nespresso machines, particularly the ones that have this shape. I'll show you a bit of a closer look when we do the demonstration on how to fill the Capsul'In cups. But I wanted to tell you first, when you want to make your own capsules, a little bit about what to do and what to pick. Starting with the coffee. Now, an espresso coffee is not a particular type of coffee. You can use any kind of coffee that you like. What is an espresso coffee is the grinding of the bean. That is the important key factor. So what you want to do first is get a coffee that you like, and you might have to try different ones until you find one that you like. Right now I'm going to try a coffee I bought in Costa Rica, so I'll probably never find it here, but it's supposed to be a high quality Costa Rican coffee. It's a dark roast, and I will show you in the bags. They all often have a little air hole in here that is used to release the carbon dioxide that's produced during the roasting process. It's normal for a coffee bean to release carbon dioxide. They always have these little holes to help the carbon dioxide escape, but it does not let oxygen in that would tarnish the coffee bean itself. So you've bought your beans and you want to store them somewhere properly. I have my beans stored in this container. I really like this. Again, this is not a sponsored post. I bought all these things myself, but this is a Frizz coffee container. So it has the same principle on top. It comes with the little plastic, interchangeable plastics that you can, I think you have to change them every 2 months or so. That helps to let the carbon dioxide escape and keeps the oxygen out. It's sealed, so it keeps your coffee fresh longer. Next, you're going to want to grind your coffee. Now, it's really important to get a good burr grinder. I personally use the Bistro Bodum burr grinder. I'll leave links down in the bottom if you like. It's a very good quality one. It's in the cheaper of the good quality ones. So I think it's about, I got it on for a good price during the holidays, but I think it's about $160 Canadian, and that's a good price. So a burr grinding ensures a proper uniform grinding of the entire bean, unlike like a spice grinder. That's just like the worst thing you could possibly use. Trust me, I've tried. So now I have a little bit of ground coffee. It's good to not ground too much ahead of time. And I will show you a closer look of the Capsul'In capsules now to show you how to fill them and talk a little bit about them. And then we're going to pull 3 shots. Up to recently, I used a Breville Roma espresso machine, but I happened to win at work at the Christmas party an espresso Pixie machine. So after trying a little bit both for a while, I decided to keep the Pixie Nespresso, but I am trying to find an alternative to keep the cost down with the capsules. I only do 2 coffees a week and I do them in a latte, so for me to buy the capsules can last me a really long time. It's not too bad. But hey, if I can find a cost-efficient way to make cheaper coffee that tastes just as good, why not? So let's give these Capsul'In cups a chance. So here we have the box of Capsul'In. It's a box for 100 capsules that you can make. These are not reusable, they are disposable. But at about $30 Canadian for 100, I calculated it comes about to like 3 cents, I think, a cup, if I did the math correctly. So plus your coffee, so that's a lot cheaper than buying them yourself. So this is what a single cup looks like. if I compare it to an actual, the Ristero Nespresso cup, you know, they're pretty much identical. The bottom is a little bit different. How do you fill your cup? Very easy. You will need 1 cup, some of these silver stickers, and there's a special handle here for holding the cup filling, and a small tamper. As I mentioned before, I've pre-ground some coffee, and you really want to grind it on the espresso setting, which I can show you here on mine. It's the absolute lowest setting. So usually you want the finest grind. You may have to experiment a little bit to find out what you like best. So you grab a cup and you snap it here. You'll hear a snap. And this you can use to scoop some coffee out. So I'm going to scoop my coffee and fill it to the rim. Now the idea is to fill it to the rim of this scoop because it's a little bit higher than if you don't have the scoop. So then it's better to use this with a brush. I just didn't have one here to show you. So then you see a slightly more coffee sticking out of the cup. That's when you take the other end of the scoop and you push it once. They say it only needs a very small tamper, that a heavy tamper coffee is actually very bad for pulling a Nespresso shot. Then you grab one of your discs, make sure that you've removed all the coffee grinds from around and your finger, and you just want to place that on top and you form a seal. My machine just went off. Press it down properly so it becomes kind of the equivalent of the regular Nespresso cup. And that's how you fill your cups. You can do up to 100 with this pack. Now for my test, there's a big debate on crema. Crema is the white foam that you find on top of an espresso shot. I usually make myself lattes, so the crema isn't as important for me. And there's a lot of misconceptions about crema. Crema is actually the emulsification of the oils in the beans coming in contact with the pressure and the water. A lighter roast coffee will produce a much thinner crema that will disappear a lot faster. A darker roast will create a darker and longer lasting crema. So sometimes crema doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the taste. It does keep the flavor of the coffee in the espresso shot longer because it's like kind of stopping the oxygen from coming in contact with the coffee. And the taste of the crema is slightly more strong than the espresso, so it's a nice texture and it adds to the drinking of a straight espresso. If your crema is too light, this could mean that you need to grind your coffee a little more fine or that you need a little bit more tampering. So light crema means under extracted. Over extracted, if you have a thin and dark crema, is the opposite. So maybe you need to grind your coffee a little bit coarser, and maybe you're tampering too much. Try tampering a little bit less. Crema also is affected by the roasting of the coffee, how many days it's been roasted before you use it. It depends about the oil content in the bean, but it's not the most important experience about drinking an espresso. Just keep that in mind. Now, I've prepared 3 samples to test. I have here, if you do a normal filling like I did, you'll get approximately 5 grams of coffee in your cup, in your little capsule. An ideal, by Italian standards, espresso should have 7 grams. So this is a very compact, highly tampered one. I tried to fill it in and we'll see what happens. And this is already a made by Nespresso, which should be already perfect, a risotto cup. So let's brew one of each and we'll see what the results look like. We will start with the actual Nespresso. I have my machine right here. Let me move this over so you can see it in action. So we'll just brew a single shot. So you see there's a nice crema forming. Kind of like pouring a Guinness, where it's mostly foamy on top. And then you see the actual espresso starting to take shape at the bottom and accumulating. So there we have our first shot with the actual Nespresso cup. Next, we will do the Capsul'in cup with 7 grams of coffee, which is probably over tampered. So, but we'll see what will happen. So as we said, if it's a dark, thin crema, it could be overpressed. The water might be having a little too much trouble going through there. Looks like it's the case. It looks more like a Ristero, which is half and a shot. So let's open that one up. And let's try a 5 gram. This is the 5 gram, which should be about ordinary. Capsul'in cup. And see what happens. Looking a lot more like the regular Nespresso. All right. This is the Nespresso Risotto. This is the Capsul'in at 7 grams. And this is the Capsul'in at a normal fill of 5 grams. Obviously the 7 grams, they all have nice cremas actually. If you look, like people complain that these fake make your own don't have a nice crema, but they all have a nice crema. Obviously though, adding 7 grams is not a good idea. You're getting a lot smaller shot. If I put these two, this is the Nespresso, this is the 5 gram Capsul'in. You can see they're almost identical. There's maybe a little bit less that came out with the Capsul'in. Now let's do a taste test. Maybe you want to see me do the taste test. See my reaction on these. All right, so this is the Nespresso. It's very dark, heavy, very robust flavor. I'm gonna try the 5 gram Capsul'in first, just because I'm afraid the other one might be a little too intense. Well, you can tell the coffee is completely different. It's just a different ground. It's a lot bitter with this one. And you can tell that the coffee is a lot thinner. It's not as an espresso is a lot more like viscous, and you can tell this isn't as viscous. So it might be just a question of playing around with it, but I think for a latte it would work. And finally, let's try the 7 gram with the Capsul'in. Now see, this has a much more viscous consistency than the Nespresso. So I almost feel like trying to get a 6 gram and see what happens. Doing a 6 gram of Capsul'in would get the espresso solubility closer. I'm not sure, this is my Costa Rica coffees, might not be the best. But anyways, if you're looking for a real strong espresso flavor, it's fun to experiment with Capsul'ins. Give it a shot. I mean, it's really worth it. I would try maybe 6 grams, and then maybe you need to pull like 2 of them to make the equivalent. But it's better than I expected. I'll have to try them in a latte really to be able to tell. But see, it's been a few minutes now still. And they say a good crema should last at least a good 2 minutes, and they still all have a good crema. But yeah, the Nespresso really makes a big difference. It's a lot more even and consistent in how it should be. And I'll keep experimenting, maybe with the 6 gram, we'll see what happens. For a latte, it's good. If you really, really want a good, still excellent, straight espresso, right now I'm gonna say stick with the Nespresso pods. But we'll experiment a little bit more, and maybe I'll tell you a little bit more in the future if I've come with a better coffee or with a better combination that works for me. So thank you very much for watching my Capsul'in review. Again, this is not a sponsored post. Everything that I've showed you here, I won in a contest through work, not through the company, or there are things that I have bought for myself. So let me know if you use a pod machine at home. What kind of pod machine do you use? Do you make your own pods? What has worked for you? What has not worked for you? I would love to hear from you. Please leave me comments below. I love reading your comments and answering them. And please subscribe to my channel. I have all kinds of interesting recipes for you and some product reviews and then some just silly moments of my life and my life in Montreal. Have a wonderful day and a great cup of espresso.